All right, Knicks fans, we need to talk about something that happened in Vegas. And honestly, I've been thinking about it nonstop since I watched the tape. Because what Tyler Nickel just did in Summer League is the kind of thing that should make every single one of you stop scrolling and pay attention. If you're new here, smash that like button right now. Because trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to want to come back and hit it again. So here's the deal. Tyler Nickel was the 47th pick in this year's draft. 47th. That second round. That's a, we'll see if he makes the summer roster kind of pick. Nobody was talking about this kid in June. Nobody. And now, 2 games into Vegas Summer League. He is not just the best rookie on this roster. He might be the best player on the entire Knicks Summer League team. Full stop. Let that sink in for a second, because I want you to understand how rare this is. This isn't a guy who padded his stats against nobody. This is a 22-year-old out of Vanderbilt who's out there averaging 17 points a game and shooting nearly 48% from 3. Almost 48%. In competitive basketball, against real athletes trying to make NBA rosters, that number is absurd. And it's not just the shooting either. This kid is playing with an edge. He's diving for loose balls. He's disrupting passing lanes. He's doing the dirty work that a lot of second-rounders don't bother with because they think their job is just to score. Now, here's where I get a little fired up, and I want you to comment down below and tell me if you agree with me, because this is where the front office needs to actually pay attention instead of doing what they usually do. The Knicks have 1 open roster spot left. 1. And every single mock roster, every single insider prediction has that spot go to backup center. Andre Drummond is in. He's Karl Anthony Towns' backup. Fine, that makes sense. But after that, the center depth on this team is basically Drummond, Towns, and Prayers. So the front office logic has been, let's use the last spot on a big man. And look, I get to thinking, but have you seen who's actually available? Nick Richards, Jonas Valanciunas, who just got cut loose by Denver and might genuinely prefer to go play overseas instead of fighting for a roster spot here. After that, you're scraping the barrel with names like Drew Eubanks and Mason Plumlee. That's not a center room. That's a waiting room. Meanwhile, this kid Nickel is standing right in front of them at 6'6", shooting the ball like he's been in the league 5 years, and playing defense that nobody expected from a 47th pick. And I keep asking myself, why are we so obsessed with filling a spot with a mediocre backup center when we might have a real rotation piece falling into our lap for free? Think about the bench right now. Landry Shamet, when healthy, is a knockdown shooter, but the man cannot stay on the court. 2 straight seasons banged up. Miles McBride is the same story, missing time. And on top of that, he's heading into a contract year with his future here totally up in the air. So, who exactly is guaranteeing Mike Brown 3-point shooting off the bench when the starters need a breather? Right now, the honest answer is nobody. And that should scare you a little bit if you're a Knicks fan, because we all remember games last year where the second unit came in and the offense just went cold because there was nobody who could stretch the floor. Nickel fixes that problem. Instantly, drop him into lineups with Brunson and Towns running the offense. Let OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges handle the defensive end. And all this kid has to do is stand in the corner, catch, and shoot. That's it. That's his job. He doesn't need to create off the dribble. He doesn't need to guard the other team's best scorer. He just needs to punish teams for helping off him. And based on what I've seen the last 2 games, he can absolutely do that at an NBA level right now. So drop a comment below. Seriously, I want to hear this. Are you on board with the Knicks handing this kid a real shot at that final roster spot? Or are you still team, we need a big man no matter what? Because I have a real problem with roster building on autopilot. Just because a certain position looks thin on paper doesn't mean you ignore the best player actually in front of you in real live game action. Now, I'll give the front office a little credit here, because there is a smart middle path, and I actually think this is where they land. Instead of burning the standard contract spot on Nickel right away, they could start him on a 2-way deal that keeps their flexibility, lets him keep hunting for a center in free agency or a trade. And if Nickel keeps balling out in the preseason the way he's balling out right now, they simply convert him later. Best of both worlds. They get to solve 2 problems instead of picking one. But here's my worry, and this is the part that actually gets me a little frustrated as a fan. We have seen this front office sit on obvious talent before. We've seen good role players get buried because the organization was too committed to a plan that stopped making sense. So my message to the Knicks decision makers, if any of you are somehow watching this, don't overthink this one. When a kid drops 17 a night on almost 48% shooting from deep in live competitive reps and plays defense nobody expected, you find a way to keep him around. You don't let pride in a pre-draft plan cost you a rotation piece that fell in your lap in the second round. Nickel himself said it best when asked how he sees his own game translating to the league. He basically described himself as a combination of shooters, guys who really punish you off movement, guys like Duncan Robinson, Max Struss, Sam Hauser, that kind of archetype, but with his own flavor mixed in. And honestly, watching him move without the ball, using screens, relocating, staying ready to fire, that comparison isn't crazy. If this kid turns into even 70% of any one of those names, the Knicks found a legitimate steal in the second round, and that almost never happens with this franchise. So here's what I want from you. Like this video if you think Tyler Nickel deserve a Real shot at that final roster spot. Comment below with who you'd rather see, Nickel, a veteran center, or both somehow. And subscribe to Knicks News because we're covering every single summer league game, every practice update, every roster rumor as it happens, all the way until training camp opens. This story is far from over, and I promise you, we will be right here breaking down every step of it.